Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is when you are watching this video. Thank you for tuning in to Cali Some Steady with Pooh Bear. It's your girl Pooh Bear, and I just wanted to do a little talk, just a little talk. So I'm gonna try to give a little minute for people to come in. And if anybody is up, for me, it is after 1 o'clock in the morning. So for some of you, it might be like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, or it might be nighttime, depending on where you are. You could be in Tanzania, you can be in Jamaica, you could be in the UK, you could be in Sweden, I don't know. But wherever you are, I just pray that you are safe and sound. But I just wanted to do a little talking, basically about preparations, and just looking at what it would take you to prepare. We have been talking for so long about preparing for whatever is going to be going on, having your food together, having all of these preps and everything, and we practice our preps and we do all of these things. But I think that one of the things that some of us are not taking serious is the fact that if you actually do have, if not all, I'll say the majority of things that you need, and things go really bad, then my question is, what do you do? Now, there's a lot of different ideas out there, like as far as food. They have the diet, or the way, I don't want to call it a diet, but the way to eat according to your blood type. And it kind of determines who is an herbivore, who's a carnivore, just like based off of your blood work, it kind of determines what you eat. And I have no idea how accurate it is. I don't know. But what I do know that is this. I believe that whatever it is that you need to be able to survive and feed your family, you need to have it. So I titled this about the animals, the turkeys, chickens, ducks, pigs, because those are the things that we will have on our property to feed our family and others. Because I understand that I like meat. I have been trying. My goal used to be that I was giving myself 10 years to become a raw. I just thought that I wanted to be clean, and I eat clean, and I wanted to do all of these things. And I am so not knocking anybody that can, but what I've realized about myself is when I go long bouts without eating certain meats, I get sick. And when I start to eat meat again, I feel better. So I'm not saying that I have to eat meat daily, but I do have to have it sometimes. And it could be because my protein levels go down. I don't know. But I feel good about the fact that, we are starting our farm, and we are being productive in making the, thank you, hi, good morning. I don't know who that is. Did you? No. Good morning. But, just looking and seeing that there is opportunities for you to provide for your family. When the whole thing happened in 2020, one thing showed me, well, what should I say? One thing life showed me is your social status, your financial status sometimes is irrelevant. It's irrelevant because guess what? When everything went to pot, everybody was standing in those excruciatingly long lines trying to get toilet paper, trying to get food. Nobody knew what was going on. Everybody was so, just taken aback. And it didn't matter if you had hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you didn't have toilet paper, it was irrelevant unless you were going to use some of that as, toilet paper. But when you have your own, then you are secure. I'm looking at security in a completely different way. I really am. I'm looking at security like I'm looking at a lot of people. And I mean, my husband and I, we've been talking about this for the longest, but I'm seeing it really manifesting itself. But just going after being debt free, having your own property, having your own animals, having your own garden so that you can feed your family. That to me, that is what being rich is. It's not about all of the money. Yeah, okay, amen, great, that's good to have, money to be able to go and buy whatever you want to buy when you can. That's an awesome thing to be able to give and help people because you have this abundance of wealth and everything. Those are great things. But when the rubber met the road, a lot of people were struggling. A lot of people were losing their jobs. People were losing their homes. People were losing their loved ones. And they couldn't feed their families, or they were very limited on what they could feed their families. And what about medication? So many people were struggling with getting their medications. And it just made me really think, like, what are we doing? We want to grind and get 2 and 3 and 4 jobs. And you want to work 2 jobs on the weekends. And then you work in 2 jobs and you in school. How are you enjoying your family? I'm all for the hustle, but I think that we might need to start reconsidering what we're hustling for. Now, I'll say this. If you have a plan like for the next 3 years, I'm just going to grind so that I can pay off all my debt, so that I can save up this money and buy this piece of land, and then I can be free. I get that. Totally. Live within your means. I get that. But a lot of us are working all these astronomical jobs so that we can live a certain way or fit a status, have the big, huge house. One of the things that, okay, because I'm from Compton. When I didn't live in Compton, I lived in Watts. When I didn't live in Watts, I lived in Detroit. So one of the things that used to really trip me out is I would see somebody living in an apartment, but they would have like this really, really nice luxury car. And it used to be so it still is mind-baffling to me, because I'm thinking, where are the priorities? It's different. Some people might not want to have their own home. Some people may not, that might not be their focus. Like, all they want is that G-Wagon, or, oh gosh, what's it called? Oh my goodness. That car that a lot of the celebrities drive starts with an R. That just shows you how much I really just don't care about that kind of stuff. Over $100,000 or whatever. But whatever. Why? when you roll it off the lot, it starts to depreciate in value. When you can take that same effort and that same amount of money to put it into your property, purchasing a property, it could be put into a trust for your family. It could be put into an of IRA or something for your future. It's like when I talk to people and they tell me like, oh, well, because you guys know I am a life insurance agent. I'm a financial advisor. And I talk to people and they're like, oh, and I'm like, well, I'm helping them do their financial needs analysis to see like where their money is, how they're doing with their money. And sometimes people will tell me like, I'm like, well, how much is your car note? $800 a month. Why in the hello operator? Call me later because I can't talk right now because my mouth is wide open. Why are you paying $700, $800, $900, sometimes $1,000 for a car note? What luxury car is worth paying all of that money when all it's gonna do is depreciate? Now, granted, some cars actually will gain, as it gets older, more like vintage cars or maybe your Bentleys, but I mean, all of that kind of stuff. But if you live in an apartment, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I don't think you should be paying $1,000 for rent unless you're like these people that live like in New York and they live in these high-rise apartments and they own it, but then that's more like a condo. But I mean, in those type of situations, perhaps because you're wealthy. But if you are only making like $2,000-$3,000 a month and you're paying $1,000 for a car note, then I'm wondering, well, what is your insurance like? The car insurance like? That's got to be like another $200-$300. When we start to really realize where our money is going, we can really see we're not spending it wisely. Now, for most people, they live paycheck to paycheck. We live paycheck to paycheck. I'm putting myself in there because I'm not where I want to be financially yet either. But this is what I'll say. You're going to spend your money. You are. You probably are going to save just a little bit if you get to save. But you're going to spend your money. You're going to spend that whole paycheck. My question is, what are you spending it on? And what would happen if you took half of that money and put it up and lived off of the other half, even if that meant you had to make some compromises and let some things go? Say you don't have a $800 car note. You turn that car in and you get a $400 car note. And then that other $400 that you used to spend on a car note, you start putting it in an investment to save you some money, like an IUL, where there's no bottom. You don't lose your money. It only goes up. But if the stock market goes bad, you're okay. Something like that, or mutual funds or something to grow your money. So if you took that same $400 and put it up for the rest of the year, you just take that $400 each month. You were used to spending it on a car note. Now you spend it on yourself by investing into your future. What would that look like? If say you had that $800 car and you had 50 more payments, and you took that same $400 and put that up for the 50 more payments, what would your money look like? Because not only would you have saved that $400, but also all the money you would have made off of the interest. What could you do with that money? A lot of people would be able to take that money and put it down, take it and put it as a down payment on some land. It may not be, the best land, but it could be land that you could cultivate and turn it into something for yourself and your family. And in some areas, you could do even better. Because say you took that $400 and you flipped it into like $20,000. I'm guesstimating. I don't think it would be 20, but probably about 12 or something. But you took that and you bought this land. Say you could buy 5 acres of land because somebody was just trying to get rid of it and they didn't really care about the value of it and they just wanted some money. So boom, now you got 5 acres of land and you pay cash for it. Now, even if you could stay in a yard on that land, it's your land. All you have to do is pay the taxes. Then you look at it like, okay, I can stay in a tent. I can stay in a yard. I can stay in a mobile home. Whatever it is, it's going to be a whole lot cheaper than what you were doing before. But now you own something. It's yours. Then you start getting like an animal here or an animal there, and you become more self-sufficient and independent. Then when things go crazy in the world, because none of us really can control what happens. We don't have no control over whatever's going to happen, whatever's going to come and be airborne or whatever. We don't have any control. But if we are on our own little plot of this rock that God has given us, when things go to pot, we're in a better situation to handle whatever is going on. So that's why I said turkeys, chicken, ducks, pigs, because that's where we are now. And it took some sacrificing and some changing. For those of you who have been with me since I started my channel almost 2 years ago, I lived in the city. I lived in South Central Los Angeles. And we were paying a lot of money for our little townhouse. And we gave it up. It was a sacrifice. When we gave it up, part of the sacrifice was my husband lived with his mom and came home on the weekends. He worked in LA and came home on the weekends until we could switch things. But we went out on faith. We worked hard. We got ourselves together and we gave up that life. The dream, the goal was to be as self-sufficient and independent as we possibly could be. And so that meant making sacrifices. One of the biggest sacrifices that we have had to make is we had to leave a lot of our family and our friends. A lot of our family and our friends are still in Los Angeles, but we moved 2 hours away to California country, high desert. And so we don't get to see them as much as we want to, but thank God we can, talk to them, see them via YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, FaceTime, whatever. We're good. And we go down, I'm in LA all the time, so it's okay. But at the same time, we had to make some changes. So we don't get to go out and eat out like we used to. No, because the money that we could spend taking our whole family of 8 out, that could buy us a pig. No, like real talk. Like if I was a piglet, we bought our piglets for like $150. Taking our family out to a restaurant, it's about $150. For example, we just celebrated Mecca's birthday. She turned 21, and we only took two kids, Earl, myself. Diamond paid for herself. We paid for Mecca and Maya, and we paid $135 because we went to the Cheesecake Factory. Now, you imagine if we had taken the other three and paid for Diamond. That's $300 all day, you know? So just making the decision that right now we're in grind mode. We are trying to build our future right now, you know? We're putting things into play because I am a firm believer of what you do today determines what your tomorrow is going to look like. And for a long time, I did not like what our future was looking like. But now I feel so much better because I can sit here and go, you know what? If things went to pot right now, if right now they declared everybody's going to have to stay in, we're doing another shutdown for 2 months. You have 24 hours to go to the store and get whatever you need. What we would have to go to the store to get is very minimal. I would have to stock up on probably some paper towels, some foil. We don't even need Ziploc bags. But our toiletries, everything, we would be okay. And we have our animals, so we'd be able to eat, you know? So I'm like, I would love to see a lot more people get to the position to where they would be okay if things happened, you know? I think that we have to really stop and ask ourselves the hard questions. What do we really need, not want? What's really important? Because so many times we look at things like, oh, I need to spend $600 on these Jordans. That's my last name. Not knocking that. But what I am saying, is it the wisest decision? Is it the wisest decision to spend $600 on a pair of sneakers that probably didn't even cost $20 to make? I don't see it, but that's me. That's me. A lot of people, they see it, they believe in it, that's what they do. Okay, do you? But if things go to pot, what would happen? How would you be? Would you be okay? Would you have a water supply? Would you have a food supply? Would you have some place to live? All of these things are very important. I am advising, like right now, there's been such a crazy thing because we had the whole, in the summertime, it was the drought in Texas, and people were selling their cows and stuff, and they had to sell them early, you know, while the cows were still young and everything. And it was just like a really downward spiral. One bad thing happened after another bad thing, after another bad thing. And so now we are in this chicken shortage to where there's a shortage on eggs. So now eggs are really expensive. And There is a chicken wing shortage, and I, for the life of me, don't know how you can have a chicken wing shortage, but there was a chicken wing shortage, and like all of these different things are happening. And so now people are starting to go, well, maybe I need to have a few chickens of my own so I can have my own eggs. So now, for people who have been, raising their own chickens for a minute, or, trying to, have a business or whatever, it was this huge influx to where there were really no chickens for people to go and buy. So a lot of people are like, now, hey, I want to have my own animals. I want to have my own chickens. I want to have my own turkeys. I want to have my own ducks and everything. And so it was the craziest thing. Like, I went to get chicks and I could not. I had to wait. I had to go on this really long waiting list. And I was like, what's the deal? And so I'm calling Tractor Supply, and Tractor Supply is like, oh yeah, there's a really long wait because so many people are trying to get chicks. And I was like, really? And so then I talked to Hoover Hatchery, because if you want to get chicks through Tractor Supply, they come by way of Hoover Hatchery. And so Hoover Hatchery is explaining to me that there's like this astronomical amount of people who want to now have their own chicks because they understand you don't know when things are going to go to pot. But if you are caught with your pants down, this time it's going to be on you. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We all have seen that we have got to have our own, because I'm not going to say that the powers that be won't help us, but what I will say is you're going to have to wait till they can get to you, because there's going to be so many people in need. Right now, you can still get pigs, you can get a cow. Even if you don't have the land for a cow, there are people that are partnering up and buying half a cow, a quarter of a cow. They're putting their money together. One person is raising the cow, and then they take it to the slaughter home and they process it for you. And you can do that. And then you guys split the animal. There's so many different ways that you can do it. If you are in a community to where you cannot have enough space to really grow like you would like to grow your own vegetables or whatever, first of all, understand this. There's hydroponics. There's the bucket method. If you haven't seen it, look at my hashtag my G Grows 2022. I did a 5-gallon bucket. I had like 20 different vegetables and fruits growing out of a 5-gallon bucket. So there's things that you can do. You can partner with somebody that might have a backyard and say, hey, I'll give you $10 a month so that I can grow my own food, or you could be the person that offers that to others. There's so many different things that can be happening right now. But I'm telling you, a lot of people feel like, oh, well, things are okay now, so back to normal. That's the old normal. We're not living in that anymore. We're in the new normal. And this new normal, it's not like you can just sit and be calm. No, I promise you, what's been showing me is the minute we get to, okay, that's over, I can breathe again. No, then there's something else. So the whole, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. The whole, if you plan now, then you don't have to worry later. The whole, It is better to plan for the worst, but hope for the best. That's where we're living in. This is our norm. It just is. I was just watching T Nog, the New Orleans gardener, and she was just saying how rice is going to be shortage on rice and flour and some other things. So it's like, okay, hey, go and get you some barley, go and get you some wheat, um, uh, get you a mill. Start getting your own corn. Get the corn that you can grind. Start doing these. She said it was going to be a shortage on corn. I believe she said corn too. There's things that we have to be looking at to figure out how we can prepare. I had never looked at getting a grinder for well, I take that back. A meal grinder. I thought about it before, but then I was like, nah. But I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get one. And you might need to get one too, because if there's going to be a situation to where you won't be able to get a lot of things, you might want to start preparing for that, you know? I'm just saying. But I don't know. All I know is while we still can, we need to be getting our own vegetables. You need to be getting your own seeds. You need to be making your own compost if you can. But if not, buy it. Whatever you got to do, do it. So that when the rubber really does meet the road, you can be the one that can offer a hand instead of needing a hand. I don't want us to be in those lines. So I want to do whatever I can to guarantee that my family won't have to. And I want the same for you. So I'm asking if you need to go ahead and start preparing just in case. And it could be so simple as you go to the grocery store and you just buy a little extra. Buy a little. There you go. Hi. Hi, Love Notes. How are you? What did you say? I didn't see any of this. Good morning. 12 a.m. Yeah, it's 1:40 for me. Oh, hi, Mike's Chaotic. Hey. With kids, you can't say nothing. It's difficult. It's really difficult to save with kids, but I'm making it work. Hey, bro, what's up, boo? Hopefully, I will see you at the end of the month. Rambo, hey, bro. I missed everybody, man. That's good. I'm happy everybody is doing good. Oh, there's more. Okay, so I'm saying it's just the mindset of instead of going to Starbucks and getting that latte, or for me the mocha, what is it, caramel mocha, what is it, caramel, I can't even say it, caramel macchiato. Right now it's take that $5 and buy me some seeds. Now, y'all all know I have a lot of seeds. I keep a lot of seeds. But my focus is shifting right now. I want to have the barley. I want to have rice. I'm waiting for MIG to get some more rice seeds in. Precious got me some seeds last year, but I didn't do something right. They were growing really good, but I think when those winds were knocking all my stuff over, it just got messed up. Everything went to pot. So I have to start over again. So I'm waiting for him to get some more seeds. But I'm like, I want to be doing all the different types of wheat that I can grow over here. For one, for my family, but for two, because I can feed that to my chicks, to my animals, you know? So, growing different types of corn, all of these things, my brain is shifting. So, and then also another thing that I'm really focusing on, and Lebanos, I know you got this on lock, but I'm focusing on getting myself all of the different herbs that I need for different health ailments. You know, I'm trying to get my muscadine grape so I can get the muscadine grapes and start growing them here. I might have to do it in like a low tunnel until it gets bigger and, you know, work all of that out. But getting my muscadine grapes, getting my echinacea, I have the seeds. I'm going to be planting those. Elderberry, like all of these different things. Oh gosh, all of the different herbs that we need, like I can't think of what it is, but things for blood pressure and diabetes and for your kidneys, just all of these different things, so that if we get put in a situation like we did the last time and we can't get to our medications or whatever, I can already have salves ready. I can already have, you know, everything together. We're going to be getting bees soon because I want to make sure I have, out of the 8 of us, 6 are asthmatic. So what if I can't get to that inhaler? Before that had inhalers, they used honey. I got to have bees because we might need honey for many different reasons. You know, sugar cane has a lot of medicinal purposes. All of these different things, like right now, I don't want to just grow food to eat. I want to grow food to benefit our bodies, making our own teas, you know. So I'm really focusing this season on having a nice size herb garden that's just strictly for different things to heal our body, whether it's topical or whether we have to, you know, digest it, ingest it, drink it, whatever. That's where my focus is right now. Because when things got bad the last time, only because I was, what do you call those people? Essential worker, because I'm a caregiver, was I able to go out and go grocery shop and do all of these things. Plus, I worked for Instacart, so I could do it. But still, you know, I was putting my life on the line going into these stores and everything just to get medicine and to get food or whatever. This time around, when that happens, I want to be able to take my auntie, you know, take my family, and we be at my house and be like, oh, okay, well, you know, things going on around us are crazy, but life right here is gonna be okay because we have our livestock, we have our water, we have our food, we have all of the toiletries, we have our solar panels, you know, all of these things. I want to be able to say we are good. So right now, the checklist is not all checked off. So I got work to do, but that's okay because God is good. We're going to be okay. I trust and I believe that, but I also believe in being prepared. So I'm going to be focusing this year on making sure that by December, I'm pretty much firing the grocery store. And I had said that I was just going to be sending, you know, when it comes time, I'm just going to be sending my animals to the slaughterhouse. But I just found out that my local community college actually has it's a non-credit class, and I don't care. They have a non-credit class that will allow you to learn how to. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Certain things like our ancestors have. Yeah, to get to the story. Yeah. Don't really go to the store. See, that's what I'm talking about, Love Notes. And I was watching this reel on Instagram, and they were talking about the first grocery store was like in 1946 or something like that. And the question was, what did they do before that? And I was like, exactly. They grew their own, they worked as a community. So cousin Sally was over here growing, the vegetables, and Aunt May was over here, handling the animals or whatever, but they worked it out. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm looking at doing. I want to be in a situation to where, we work it out. Like right now, I have two neighbors that I work with. My neighbor next door to me, they get apples and stuff like that. They bring us apples. My neighbor down the street, he grows his vegetables. He brings them to me. And then I'm giving eggs, and we're going to be doing a lot more swapping. But eggs right now are like low key like a commodity. So, and I'm sorry about the disconnection. Um, it happens sometimes. I had to get reconnected. But it's like knowing my neighbors to a certain degree. I don't really know my neighbors like that, but knowing them enough to be able to say, hey, I'm growing this over here, or I got this going over here, and we can look out for each other. And I mean, that's what they used to do. And so we are getting back to that. I think even now, like people like me, I don't really like to know my neighbors because I don't want to be in anybody's business and I don't want anybody in my business. I want to just be by myself. But what this whole situation taught me is that you have to a certain degree be able to rely on your neighbors, and they have to a certain degree be able to rely on you, because when things happen, all you have are the people who are immediate to you. You might only be able to go to the left or to the right one house over. You might not be able to do anything else. So I'm just saying, if it makes sense to you, yay. We have to really start working on things. And I mean, even if things went to pot and you have to start processing your own animals and stuff, you're right. They don't have to be your neighbors living next to you. They don't. They might be in the next town over or whatever. But you guys have a system or understanding that if this goes down, this is our meetup spot. Or, just whatever. I've often been told to not have all of your preps and stuff in one spot. So maybe Sally Mae in the next town might have some of your preps. Your cousin around the corner and up the street might have some of your preps. So, you know what? I'm going to put it to you like this. There's a movie, one of my favorite movies with J-Lo. It's called Enough. And one of the things that she taught me in this movie is just that, to not leave everything in one spot. When she was in the process of leaving her husband and she was on the run with her daughter, she had things set up so strategically. There was a point when he had found where she was and he had attacked her, and she had to grab her baby. She locked him in the house because she had prepared for this. If he happens, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And so what she did, what did she say? I'm getting my meat from a farmer. Exactly. Who did it? Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. So she had the house rigged, so if he came, I would be able to do this or I would be able to do that to get away. And so what she did was, when he came into the house and he attacked her, she grabbed her baby, but there was a handle, a lever that came down that locked him in. He couldn't get out of the house to give her enough time to take off. And when she left, she drove to another area and his friend was right there. And the friend tried to crash her, which was stupid to me because I was sitting here going, he's trying to get his daughter back and kill her, but he wants the daughter. If you crash the car, you could kill the little girl, but that's neither here nor there. But what she did was she got away from him, and then she kept driving to a specific place where she had a whole nother car with wigs and sunglasses on and new identification and money in a whole new car nobody knew nothing about. So she got out of that car that he knew about and was in something completely different. She thought ahead, she prepared, and she didn't have it all in one area. She had it somewhere else. And so when I started listening to different people like Granny Karma and other people, I was like, wow, this is making more and more and more sense to me. So, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Your preps are at some, yeah, your preps being at someone else's house. Well, I mean, it might not work for everybody, you know? Everybody's situation is unique. I get it. I do have, like, I have a cousin that has, like, I'm only on 1.6. She's on like 2.5. I have an aunt that's on like 5 acres of land. So, I mean, for me, I can bury some stuff, if I needed to. Granny Karma was talking about like putting money, like how the elders used to put money in mason jars or in cans and bury it back in the day. Right, preparation is the key. And that's the thing. I had got off of my grind and prepping because I was focusing on some other stuff. But now it's like, wait, hold up. Because then first it was the thing that happened in 2020, but now there's like all these other things that are going around and you don't know. Sometimes you just feel like it's not safe to go out the door. Then you go, you know what, I can't stay in fear. I got to just go out, put on my mask and just keep it pushing, and then there's a lot of people who are like, well, I'm not even wearing a mask. I'm over it. And so I'm like, everybody is doing what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. All right, multiple buildings on the land. Yep. That is something that I really, 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 really want to do. I'm not saying that I want to get rid of my home. I love my home. But I wish I could buy this land that's next to me. They won't sell from what I understand, but I haven't tried. Maybe they wouldn't sell to the previous owners, but maybe they'll sell to me. I don't know. I got to pray about it and see if God will move a mountain for me, because if I could get this land right here next to me, I wouldn't be worried about nothing. This land next to me is way more than enough for everything that we are trying to do. But I mean, even right now, God is still blessing because we have been able to start selling our eggs. That's working out really good, So I'm just looking at it like we went from living in South Central Los Angeles to moving out here. And those of you who've been with me, y'all know in the end of July, we lost like our whole flock. And now we're like back on our feet. Right. You're right. You're never going to know. So just do the best you can. That's the takeaway. Do the best that we can. But I'm going to let you guys go. I got to get ready for prayer line. Prayer line is about to start in a minute. And I'm excited. We're doing the book of Psalms right now. And it's good. oh my gosh, it's good. It's good. It's really good. So, with that being said, great Thursday morning to you too. Yes, I am going to be putting up some more videos. We have a lot, more to come. A lot to come. We have a lot that we're working on this property, but because we are financing everything on our own, we haven't gotten a loan or a grant or nothing like that. We're doing our own. It's taking a lot longer, but it's okay. It's okay. We're fine with that. So we're finishing hopefully today the temporary pig pen, so that we can get our piglets, and we just got a lot. We have a lot to plant because we haven't really been doing our well, I can't say we haven't been doing. We've been putting everything in the cells, but we haven't put stuff into the ground. So that's what we're going to be doing, putting stuff into the ground, hopefully between today and tomorrow, because Saturday, this whole area is going to be different because it's going to be Mecca's 21st birthday celebration. I cannot believe I have 14 to 24. It's crazy, my 6 kids, but it's a blessing. I'm just grateful to God that I'm alive to see my baby turn 21. Baby, exactly. You know what, Love Notes? That's one thing I had to tell myself, because, when you have, and I got to stop talking, when you have something in your head, God gives you this vision, this plan, and you see it, you can see it, you can touch it. You know what it is you want. That doesn't mean it's going to be an instantaneous thing. And God has to sometimes remind me of that, because I can remember when I was 16, I was diagnosed with an unfinished womb. I will let her know you said happy birthday. Thank you. And so they told me that I would never be able to conceive. I was never going to be able to have children. And so I always knew that I wanted a big family. And I was like, they said I can't have no kids. And I was like, okay. So then I went to church with my uncle, and we had went to a visiting church. We had never been there before. And this woman called me up when it was time for prayer. She called me up, and she was like, I see many babies all around you. She was like, she said, God said, when you surrender wholeheartedly to him and you get married, God is going to open up your womb. So I was like, I received that. Okay. So we're talking like 91, 92. I'm like, okay, I receive it. God said it. Okay, fine. Amen. I'm not questioning, because she didn't know. So I believe it. So when I got married, I was 19. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm saved. I'm completely for real saved, living only for the Lord. And I'm married. So let's go. Come on, babies. No, my female situations got worse. They got a whole lot worse, to where sometimes I have to be, put in the hospital for a little bit for what was going on with me. But they kept telling me, like, yeah, you're never going to be able to conceive. And I was like, no, because God said. So it was so funny. They say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So we were living in Los Angeles. And so we made a decision that we were going to move to Michigan, going to be in Detroit with my family. So we left California and moved to Detroit just to find out that we were pregnant. And so it was like the craziest thing. So then I'm trying to get put on Medi-Cal, and I couldn't. It was going to take like 3 months for me to get Medi-Cal. And so because I was high risk, we wound up having to come right back to California. So it was just like, wow. But it took 3 years from the day that we got married for us to have our first child, our oldest, little Earl. He was born on our third anniversary. So I thought, okay, well, I'm married and I'm saved, so let's do it. But no, we had to wait on God's time. And then the awesome thing about God is he will show you that, oh, this wasn't a fluke and this wasn't man. So the next year we got pregnant again. We got pregnant with twins, but we had a miscarriage. And then the next year we got pregnant with Diamond. And then, so we had a 98, a 2000, 2002, 2004, 2006, 2008. Maya right there, that's my 2008. So, God, and they were all C-section. But my body is fine. I never had a problem. When I had my last C-section with her, the doctor was really concerned. He was like, I don't know what your insides are going to look like. You're overweight and you've had so many C-sections. I don't know. It might take 45 minutes to cut you open. He was done with my C-section and my tubal ligation in 45 minutes. And he was like, I thought it was going to be so. I was like, you don't know my God. Obviously, you've not met my dad. This is God. Dad, this is this man. Yeah, you need to know him. But then in the same thing with moving, I kept wanting to move from where we were for so many years. And then it just came time when the time was right, when God was ready for us, we showed him that we would be able to handle what he gave us. He shifted us. It was the most ironic thing. I have talked to a lot of people and I watch a lot of TV shows where people are like looking for houses, flip this house, all that kind of stuff. And I have seen people go and look for houses for months and sometimes even over a year. They're looking for a house and they can't find the house that they want to move to. And it doesn't have to be a forever house, but just, the next step up. This is our first home of our own. We came down here one weekend. We saw 4 houses the first day, 4 houses the second day. We saw this house, fell in love with this house. The previous owners were on their horses and they had a cow and they had the horses and they had a chicken coop and, all of this stuff. And I saw all of the potential. Even though it wasn't the amount of land that I originally wanted and still want, but I saw this could be the beginning. They talked to us for about 5 minutes. The realtor, who's fabulous, we love him. He helped my sister get her house. He's like a part of our family now. He walked us through and everything. We fell in love with the house. Has so much character. I love my fireplace. I was in love with my house. But they fell in love with us and told us that they wanted us to have this house. So they told their realtor accept whatever offer, basically whatever offer that they give. So it was done just like that. And Love knows, you remember, we went through hell with underwriting, but finding the house wasn't the problem. And so now 2 years almost later, well, it's like 2 years when we first started this process, come May, I think. But here we are now, the dream, to have the house, to have the land. Our family is together for the most part. We're together. And then now we have our animals. And even though we lost almost all of our animals back in July, we're right back. And now we're actually even more ahead than where we were, because back then we weren't selling anything, but we are now. It had to be in God's timing. We had to be patient. Well, I had to be patient because I'm like, I see the dream. I want to get it done. Boom, 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 boom. Slow your roll, girl. That's what God has to keep showing me. Slow your roll, Pooh Bear. I got you. I'm always like, I'm wasting time. I need to get this done. No, it's okay. You're going to be alive to see the dream come into fruition. Because that's always my thing. Like, I don't want to die before I get these things done. I want to make sure that my kids are set up, and I'm trying to do it on my own. And when I try to do it on my own, I'm pushing God out of the way and I'm trying to make it happen. But I have to rely on Father. So when my Heavenly Father puts it in place, then it just rolls. Just rolls. It's like water, just no problem. So that's what I'm learning. So in conclusion, because I really do have to go because prayer line starts in a few minutes. Get what you can get, save what you can save, prep as much as you can, and then trust God's process for you. That's like the best things that I could say right now on this topic. Trust God's plan. Let it be in His timing. He could be teaching you patience. He's definitely been teaching me patience. And every time I think I'm good with it, He shows me how I still have some work to do on myself. But it's okay because I am a work in progress and He allows me to be. That's what's so awesome about Him. He allows you to be you. It's okay. He meets us where we are. But with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Callie's Homesteading with Pooh Bear. I'm your girl, Pooh Bear. God loves you. You better love you because I love you. Okay. See you guys soon. Bye-bye for now.